Oops. Pressed the button a little early then, but hey, welcome to this week's Monkey That Patch podcast. That beginning bit where we cut out the audio one. And I'm joined by Keith, who's wearing the same colour t-shirt as me.
Yeah, well, you know. But, I mean, hardly a way to start a stream. Oh, shit, no, boom, and then the stream starts. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Can you please? I'm sitting there panicking.
That's fine. Done? It's I just I don't know what I done. I pressed the button. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh! Let's Hannah's just beat Biffa in.
Did she? Hi Biffa. I haven't watched that thing. I just realised when I got on, I meant to watch it. I was going to watch it Sunday evening. But I'll watch it tonight. The was it KA something thing that you sent me. I will watch it. Trust me. Just give me another week. Hello, welcome to this week's Monkey That Punch podcast, where I'm joined by Keith. Keith is the human equivalent of a beluga whale.
See, notice how I did it the right way as well. Even though it's the wrong way.
No, Keith, just knock it off, man.
It's professional.
No. Hi, Steve. Right. So we've got 3 pieces of news, 2 trailers to look at. We're not going to look at the Alien Earth one because that's not a trailer, Keith.
I know. I didn't even know it existed. That was the
Didn't
thing.
you know it existed?
No, not even heard about it until that came up, and I was like, "What the fuck's that?"
It's the guy who did Legion who's doing it.
It is a trailer. It's just not a very good one.
No, it's not a very good one. But we do have the Minecraft trailer to look at. And Sonic 3 trailer. And the reason I want to look at the Sonic 3 trailer is to juxtapose it with the Minecraft trailer. Okay, you can score loads of points in Scrabble for juxtapose.
Triple word score.
Triple word score, yeah. Right, so we have our first story. Let me see if I got my videos still back up. Button's not working. There we go. That's I want to press the Sydney Sweeney button. Can I press the Sydney? Should I press the Sydney Sweeney? We dive into the latest entertainment news and reviews. At first, we explore Jenna Ortega's outspoken view on gender-swapped spin-offs and her call for an original female-led franchise. No Jamie Bond for her. Let's discuss how the new... oh, fuck. I'm reading the wrong notes. In a recent interview, Wednesday's and Scream star Jenna Ortega expressed her thoughts on Hollywood's tendencies to produce gender-swapped versions of popular franchise. Ortega voiced her support for original female-led projects rather than rehashing existing male-dominated stories. Drawing examples from female Ghostbusters, the idea of a female James Bond, she emphasized her desire to see unique characters and stories created specifically for women rather than remaking established male roles. This sentiment aligns with the growing voices in the industry and advocates for original female representation rather than superficial changes. No hand-me-down characters, please. I got that wrong, almost right. So, I like Jenna Ortega. Everything I see of her and everything I hear about her, she sounds like a normal human being, unlike the fucks in Hollywood, which really makes her really fucking endearing.
I hope she doesn't get, infected with the Californian bubble, because she's absolutely a million percent right. There should be one caveat, as long as you're not Michael Burnham, um, because that was a terrible female character. But she's right. I mean, all this gender swapping is just getting boring. It's
It is.
done and dusted. It worked once or twice. The only one I can think of that where it did actually work, and I think it was more to do with the actress rather than anything else, was Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica.
I thought you were going to say Missy in Doctor Who.
See, I knew there was one more that Missy worked.
Yeah.
I said there's only one or two I can think of. Yeah,
But
you're right,
but
Missy.
but saying that, in Battlestar Galactica, you have the only example where they swapped a black character to a white character with
They did
with what's his
Ty,
mush, Ty. Yeah.
Colonel Ty. It does work when it's the right actress and when it's done to fit a particular story that is a story and not for diversity or other political reasons. Missy worked great, but it was down to the actress. And there are not many actresses that could have played that role the way she did. And it worked. I don't think it would have worked had it been someone else. But you can have purposefully written great female characters.
Well, Alien, Ellen Ripley, Aliens, Ellen Ripley again, Sarah Connor in Terminator, both 1 and 2. What other ones you've got? You've got that kind of. It sounds cheesy. I liked Angelina Jolie as Lara Croft in the Lara Croft films, but I might be the only person in the world.
Not the only one.
She played. She got the character. She nailed the character down. I just wanted an English person to play it because I'm English and I'm a bit petty like that.
Yeah, but we do play all their superheroes. Spider-Man,
All right,
Superman,
all right, fair enough.
Batman. to just name but a few. I liked her as Lara Croft. But I mean, what she's saying here is absolutely clear. I mean, just for crying out loud, just make James Bond movies. Just make James Bond movies. It is literally, I don't care, you can't make these movies these days. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It is a minority on the internet. Just tell them to fuck off. Stop caring what a few people on the internet say, right?
What's the expression?
Most people love James Bond. Most people love James Bond movies. Even today. Don't care whether it's your version of politically correct or not. Most people like it. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy for both sexes. Just make James Bond movies. No, he's not gay. He's a red-blooded, hot male who likes to shag women. Lots of women. Get over it. Right? There's quite a lot of people out there that do this. Right?
It might be the majority of the planet.
Can we just like be normal again? Can we get this madness gone? James Bond, it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy, and most people know it, right? There is no one out there that does what James Bond does. Well, maybe there is, but not many. But it's a fantasy, and it's a fantasy that works for most people. Daniel Craig was the worst mistake that they made in the James Bond thing, and I keep saying because he never seemed very interested in making James Bond. The only one movie that he was, I do kind of like Casino Royale, and I do kind of like Skyfall, but those are the only two. And it was more to do with the supporting characters than anything else. Just make James Bond movies. Stop being, and excuse the expression, stop being pussies, right? And just make bloody James Bond movies, right? Because if you make James Bond movies like you used to, people will go and watch them. They will.
Okay. All right.
That's right. And all this bullshit about making James Bond a woman, no. James Bond works because he's a man.
Okay. Just talking about the kind of, you can make This mythical modern audience doesn't exist, and
No, it's
there have
bullshit.
been two massive game failures recently that
I
happened.
know which
One
one
of
you're going
them,
to talk. Concord.
one of them cost $200 million to make, which was Sony's live service Concord. Yeah, and it looked like a really shit version of Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. And it had no appeal to anyone in it. Yeah. Nobody bought it. It had a peak. It peaked at like 115 people on Steam that were playing at any one point. Then
697 was the peak.
697.
197 players. Peak.
Christ almighty. I bitch that Helldivers is sitting at 100,000 at the moment rather than the
players.
250,000 it was before. Anyway, going back to the game, so that didn't work. So they made it for this mythical modern audience that didn't show up to buy it or didn't bother playing it. They talk a lot on Twitter, they talk a lot on Facebook, and all this other stuff. Didn't turn up. So Concord, absolute failure. Sony have deleted it. Yeah, Sony have recalled all the copies and offered refunds to everyone, and they will soon shut down the servers and describe this as a complete fucking write-off for tax reasons. The next one is a game called Dustborn. Yeah. Now, Dustborn is so bad you could think it's parody, but it's not. Yeah. It was funded by governments to, how can I put it, counter disinformation on the internet. But it's done anything but that. It's horrible woke garbage, and again, its player count is in the tens of people, and I mean the tens of people. The only people who are playing it, I reckon, are streamers because they want to just point and laugh at it. It looks like, if you saw it, Keith, it looks like a fucking joke. You think that someone had made a piss take. You think it came from the creators of South Park. It's that bad.
I hadn't, although the South Park games are quite good, but I'd seen Concord and I'd seen the characters, and I'm just like, how do so many people sign off on that? Because you have to have a lot of people sign off on that. And the computer games industry is, at the moment, utterly fucked. And you've got Sweet Baby Inc. coming out and defending. It's like, defending what? No one's buying games at the moment. Because they're crap.
But yeah, also, Keith, you have to understand that there are the indie guys making stuff that's good quality. Yeah?
Yes, but I'm talking... there are good indie games out there, but these major games are being ruined by this ridiculous bullshit, right? I've been saying this for years. We're going back. We are regressing, not going forward. And it's because of stupid shit like this. It's because of constant having to freaking, gender swap characters, race swap characters to tick fucking boxes. We are so obsessed with ticking boxes that we've forgotten how to entertain.
But there is some hope because Space Marine 2 is on the horizon, and everyone says that is just full of testosterone.
Yes. It's funny how the movies that are full of testosterone, Maverick, Top Gun, have done so damn well. God, I wonder why.
I wonder why too.
It's just...
But saying that, those games absolutely failed. Because there's this mythical modern audience that they're pandering to, that they think exists, that they keep getting told exists. They keep being presented stuff saying it exists. Stop using power analytics is the first thing. Power analytics is false. Yeah, that's where you're getting all this shit from. Yeah, it doesn't exist. It's not important. Tweets are not important. Sales are important. You sell, they play, bump, easy, money made. Shall we move on to the next one?
I'll just say, just before we do, I'd just like to so I hope Jenna Ortega doesn't get into too much trouble for this, because people will start blacklisting her. Although hopefully, Wednesday season 2 will do really, really fucking well. And therefore she'll have work for life. But she's right. Just on that, she's right. God bless her. Thank God.
I like people who talk common sense. Let's have that. Amazon Prime is developing a... Sorry?
You need to do the Sydney Sweeney one, because your wife told you no. And
I'll do that in a moment. I'll do it in a moment.
I would do it.
Amazon.
Can I read?
Amazon Prime is developing a new spin-off series for the hit TV show Reacher, building on the massive success of the main series, which starred Alan Richardson as Jack Reacher. The spin-off is beginning to be developed by Nick Santoros and Nicholas Wooten, and is rumored to be focused on Frances Negley, a character played by Maria Stern in the original series. The announcement comes on the heels of Reacher's renewal for a third season, which continues to perform incredibly well globally, with the show's audience growing significantly. And it's no surprise Amazon is expanding the Reacher universe. Oh, Negley. What kind of character is Negley?
Can't remember.
Is she black and gay?
Oh, okay. Oh, is she the
tech one?
The tech one. Yeah, I kind of like her though.
She is cool, but it reeks of chasing the modern audience picking that character. I would have picked the guy who's the detective, the black fella in the first series.
Yeah,
I really liked.
But
he's great, and he's a good actor too.
I do kind of like her character. She hasn't done. You see, this is the problem, right? Because of all this modern audience bullshit, you can't have a black lesbian character anymore because people just go, oh, it's modern audience bullshit, and switch off. So when you actually have an interesting character, like, you remember when we said about Andor, right? And they make those two characters lesbians, and it kind of makes sense, right? But we kind of immediately went to like this and it. Because of all this crap, you can't do it. I mean, this is the problem. We've regressed, and your reaction is perfectly acceptable based upon modern audience bullshit. But actually, I quite like her character, and as long as it's not, her going through racism and hatred for her being a lesbian, and it's just a good story. It might be watchable.
They can do it. They're gonna do that.
Oh, I know. I know. But this is what pisses me off, because I actually quite like her character. She's the type of character that I would go and have a beer with, because she'd be interesting, geek out.
I would have gone to bloody Lee Charles and gone, who are you going to spin off? Who would you spin off? And then got Lee Charles to pick. Yeah, that's what I would have done, because I think that would have worked best, especially if everyone goes, this is Lee Charles's pick. Yeah, we didn't pick this person because of X, Y, and Z. Lee Charles picks this because he knows that character's got a bit of depth, and it'll pay off later.
In the first two seasons, they don't make that much play of her. You mean, okay, it's established that she's a lesbian, right? But they don't really play on it. So
no, they don't. But my worry is that they will.
Yeah,
and it'll be front and centre.
Gareth, I can't blame you. I want you to be wrong. I hope you're wrong. No offense, but you're probably not. Especially with Amazon at the moment. Amazon, the fact that they put Rings of Power out there, their heads are so far up their arse, it's ridiculous.
I think Rings of Power is on like 900,000 viewers worldwide.
Yes.
Worldwide. For a $1 billion TV series.
Less than $1 million. That was episode 3 or 2. It was either episode 2 or 3 that got the 900, but it got quite a substantial amount more for its first episode of season 2, and then just dropped off very quickly.
They all watched it and oh no, fuck this for Game Soldiers. It's always the way.
So, yes. I don't know. It bothers me.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's not good. But it depends if they do it and it's just Negley and it's about Negley and what she does rather than her characteristics. Yeah, it's fine. But
if
they're not going to
it's
do that, are they? We're not that
if it's
lucky.
going to be done in the same vein as Reacher, right? So it's going to have fight scenes in it. She's not going to beat people that like. She's not going to come up against a guy the same size as Reacher and kick his ass. You know, like bend his little thumb and he falls over whimping, right? That kind of thing. Then it'll work. It's got to be realistic. I mean, the funny thing is, right? I've been until this week. I've sort of not had any new Audible books, so I started with Will Jordan's series. Now, if you don't know who Will Jordan is, he's the Critical Drinker. He's an author, right?
Yes.
And he has a series of books on Audible, which I've started listening to. Now, his female character is interesting, and she is pretty fucking hard and pretty kick-ass. But when she comes up with a much stronger book, it goes to details that she has to use techniques rather than, imaginary strength in order to beat people that are stronger than her. And she doesn't always succeed. And that's what I like. Go on, you're smiling. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm smiling because in one of his live streams, he turned around and he was talking about characters who are self-inserts, usually for the author. He turns around and goes, "Could you imagine me doing a self-insert? A drunk Scottish man trying to fight off terrorists?" To which everyone was like, "That would be fucking hilarious. Write it." Because that would be a great comedy. Because you have to, if you lean into it, yeah, it'll work.
But his lead character is drunk and
to,
English and fighting off spies, and they've got me hooked. I'm on the third one already, right? There are two kind of main characters. You've got a male character and a female character, and they balance each other out. They're both as important as each other, and she is pretty kick-ass, and she's harder than him, right? But that's because she is fucking trained, right? And she doesn't overpower him. She uses technique, right? Which makes sense, and he goes to great pains to explain this. So, what I was trying to basically say, if a Negley series is in that kind of vein, which up until now, for the most part, Reacher has been, right? Then I'll watch it. I like Negley. I think she's a cool character, right? Or she has been a cool character. She's a tech geek, which I like, right? And I'm up for that. If it turns out to be black woman racism, oh, you're a lesbian, hate, oh, everyone hates black lesbians in the world because that's just bullshit, right? Then no, I'm not interested in that. I'm fed up of that bullshit,
I personally would think it would work better if it was more like a spy series where she's got to do everything she can not to get caught. Because that would be much more interesting. You know what I mean? The tension, just, trying to get in somewhere and out somewhere, not having the fight at all. She avoids the fight because she's clever. Yeah, because if you know anything about the art of war, it's like always trying to avoid combat. Combat is when you've got exhausted all your all your options. If she could do that sort of thing, and we can have a more kind of, I don't know, spooks-esque sort of thing. So like that old TV series where you try and avoid the fighting.
That would work for me. It's got to be in that vein of Reacher. I mean, at the end of the day, again, Reacher is quite a testosterone-filled TV series, which surprisingly a lot of women quite like. Who knew? And it's going to have a female lead, so it's going to sound misogynistic saying testosterone, but you know what I mean. It's got to be in that vein. No political bullshit.
Okay.
And it'd be good.
All right. I'm going to press a button. I'll do Sydney Sweeney in a bit.
Just as good.
Sir Ian McKellen, the iconic actor who portrayed Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit trilogy, has hinted that he may return as the beloved wizard in the upcoming Lord of the Rings spin-off, titled The Hunt for Gollum. The new film is set to focus on Gollum, with Andy Serkis both directing and reprising his role. Ian McKellen, now 85, expressed enthusiasm for donning Gandalf's hat and beard once again, despite concerns for his health following a stage injury earlier this year. I didn't know about that. So yeah, apparently
He fell off stage.
he fell off
did
stage.
How did you miss that? It was everywhere. I mean, it even hit the news here.
Oh, well, Ian McKellen falls off stage.
It was,
Bloody hobbits!
it was apparently quite. I mean, at first it didn't sound very serious, but he was off for quite a while. I mean, it's obvious that he's going to come back. You have to.
Oh, we love
bloody Gandalf.
As long as he gets to film with people, that'll be his condition.
You know what? I want what's her face back as Galadriel as well, because I need some freaking medication. I need, with the what's the silly Welsh cow on the thing. I can't roll my R's the way she does. She just rolls everything, and that's not Elvish. Brings a power. But I would like to see him back as Gandalf, but I am concerned. Although Peter Jackson and what's her face are writing the movie and are involved in the movie, and Andy Serkis, it will always be Gollum now for me. I just still don't know how they're going to create an entire movie out of this, and I don't want it to be. There are moments in the Hobbit trilogy I really like, but they were too damn long. Right? I mean, the meeting of the White Council is great. The sort of having more of Radagast, the Brown, was great. The dwarfs are great, but it should have been 2 movies, and not 3. And it because of that, it did not have the same. There wasn't the same love there. There wasn't the same passion with the Hobbit movies,
and then there was the 60 frames a second thing in the cinema.
Yeah, I know, but that was you had the option to see it in that, and it was weird.
Oh my god! I don't know what they were thinking.
I mean, there are moments in the Hobbit movies. I mean, I love Billy Connolly as the dwarf that turns up on the kind of wild boar, just brilliant. I mean, what's his face as Smaug, Cumberbatch as Smaug was amazing, but the movies definitely lack the passion that the original 3 had. Although McLennan was just brilliant as Gandalf, but having recently done the Lord of the Rings movies and loved watching them again, I don't know how they're gonna. There's not a lot in the appendices around this. Right?
Maybe that's a good thing.
Well, it doesn't work. At the moment, they wrote 3 very extended movies out of a single book that didn't work so well. Right? Whereas, the problem is, right, what I don't want it to be, and what I'm frightened of, is that Peter Jackson works very well when he's got an abundance of text, right, to work from. But he didn't work so well when he had one book and had to expand on that. Very similar to the Lord of the Rings, to the Game of Thrones people.
I was going to say, but it's Andy Serkis doing it.
That's one hope.
And
don't get me wrong,
Peter
any
Jackson's
chance I get to see Andy Serkis doing Gollum on screen, I'm there for it. I don't care. I mean, his Gollum was just he is Gollum, and McLennan is Gandalf for me. I mean, he just is the voice, everything. It is Gandalf, and it's not his only part, but that is the part I think he will be most remembered for. And he is brilliant as Gandalf. He truly is. I mean, he's also great as Magneto, actually, but that's a different one. But I just hope it's a good movie and it doesn't tarnish the legacy.
Me too. I just hope if I hear the phrase we've redone it for modern audiences, that's it. It's game over.
Yeah, Hollywood's
All
got to
right.
stop using that, or because you don't know what a modern audience looks like.
No, you don't. And with that, right, there goes. Quite enough of that.
Wuss.
Oh, I know, because I want to get into the comments. Because I haven't looked at the comments throughout this entire thing, so let me... There we go. So, Mrs. was first in. It's easy for her, because she just has to watch me go upstairs. Biffa, second in. Legend, thank you very much. Then Steve! Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
And then...
That was a reaction to me saying Sydney Sweeney.
Sweeney, oh, okay. Now I understand. Yep, the other couple of gender swaps that worked. Boomer also.
She worked in the first sort of the mini series, and then they didn't really know what to do with her, and she got annoying. But yes.
Yeah, I liked her.
I agree with
I
you.
liked it. Daniel Craig just seems like a miserable git. Which yeah.
Paid 50 million and insisted on getting killed, and became subsequent. Don't even get me started on that last James Bond film. It's terrible.
It ripped off a load of stuff from Metal Gear Solid, especially the Fox Die virus and the bit getting nuked at the end. Best gender swap movie. They swapped the gender of... It was Sam Witwicky was the character's name for Haley Steinfeld. But that was a different story. It's a whole new thing in that. So
you see, Haley Steinfeld is just incredibly charismatic and likable and works in pretty much everything he does. So, actually, Bumblebee... I do like Bumblebee. I do too. I just wish they would have put in Starscream chasing him as an F-15. Yeah.
Because I like Starscream as an F-15. Because that's what Starscream is.
Agreed.
Yeah, Negley is cool, but yeah. Still worried. Modern audiences. I can't remember his name now. The character's name. The detective in the first one. He turned up in the second one, which was quite cool. I have no idea what this comment's about. Lee's child, isn't it? Which I mean, it's the author.
I think you said Lee Child. I think she said Lee Childs.
All right, Childs. And then I think our comments just repeat themselves. Wow. Something's gone wrong there.
Tanis says she knew about Ian McKellen's fall.
Huh.
And
yes.
That is the
Yeah, they have. They've gone weird.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's watch a couple of trailers. Now, I've got two trailers for us to watch. I'm going to show you one that's done right and one that's done wrong. I'm going to wait until you've watched them to guess. So let's start off with the first one, which is classic for children, Minecraft. So here we go. Can you hear it?
Right this way.
What the hell?
Anything you can dream about here, you can make.
Who are you?
I am Steve.
Okay.
This guy is such a tool bag.
So that's Minecraft, okay? Right, so let's let me just get the other one on. So screen. I think it's that one. Yep. So this one. And boop, boop, boop.
Sir, there's something else. When we were wiping Robotnik off our database, we found something. A file buried deep in our system and dating back over 50 years.
What was it?
A secret research facility. It was a black site, sir. Someone worked very hard to keep this hidden.
I'm not playing the right trailer. This is what I get for using Bing.
Carry on playing it.
Because it's supposed to.
I'm intrigued.
Oh, okay.
By it.
All right. I don't think it's an actual trailer. I think this is a made-up one.
Oh. I hate.
Okay,
Do you know, I have the most irritating thing. I hate these concept trailers because they put Sonic 3 full teaser trailer in the title, and then you read in the description. They should be banned. That's false advertising. In YouTube, you should do something about it. God, it's one of my real irritations.
Sorry, I shouldn't have. I'm just going to go straight to YouTube next because I can spot them. It's easier to spot on YouTube. So let's put here. All right, so
That was a cool trailer, though.
You finally found your family.
Try to keep up.
I know it hasn't always been easy, but you didn't change who you are in here.
Yeah, in my lungs.
Or your heart.
There's been a high-level security breach. And we need Team Sonic's immediate assistance. Project Shadow is far beyond anything we've ever encountered.
Shadow's story began a lot like your Sonic. But where you found family and friends, Shadow found only pain and loss.
All right, we got a rogue alien on the loose. How do we find it?
Start with a giant fireball?
I love it. Let's start with a giant fireball.
He is much more impressive than the hedgehog I fought previously.
Dude, I'm standing right here.
You're a colorful bunch.
We don't want to fight you.
Actually, Sonic, I would like to fight.
No, no! My turn. Can we just talk about this? He's too powerful. Sonic! I can't believe I'm saying this, but we need you-know-who.
This is a bad idea.
When has that ever stopped me?
Doctor,
We have visitors.
this is sad, Robotnik. Even for you.
We need your help.
On one condition. Let's do this! If I can't rule the world, I might as well save it! I need room.
But, sir, I don't have the proper materials.
Found some.
When we're done, there won't be anything left.
Hey, no cheat code! What did you do?
What I had to.
I'll stop it there. Right, so my wife's like, I already know what he's going to say on this, right? One looks like a really entertaining family fun film that's disposable, aimed at children. The other is a fucking Minecraft movie with what the fuck have you done to Jason Momoa?
giving him a perm.
What the fuck? No, seriously. Look, I'm serious. What the fuck has
I
happened to
told him to
Jason
stay
Momoa?
and made him sit in McDonald's for 10 years by the looks of it. Sorry.
Oh my god, it's like kind of.
He's a bit it's kind of like they've given him a perm, and he's had one too many beef burgers. Poor old. That's not Jason Momoa. I mean, Tannis.
Jason Maflymo.
What's your opinion here?
And it's like.
I saw this trailer and I thought Jack Black is Jack Black, and you know.
Oh God.
And what's this? Although I did like, the only thing that made me laugh was the Lima Wuwa at the end. The Lima did make me giggle, but that's more.
Oh.
Yeah,
your terrible sense of humour.
Yeah. That made me giggle, but that the rest of it, put it this way, that trailer did not make me want to go out and watch it. Whereas I actually quite like the Sonic the Hedgehog film, so I'll probably go and see Sonic 3.
Actually, saying that, I'm gonna see if I can just find. Hang on a second. I'll find the Minecraft story mode. Yeah, which looks like it would make a better film if you gave it like proper.
Oh, it's going to be another entire rip-off of like some, meta fourth wall breaking film, because ever since the Lego Movie, people have tried to remake the Lego Movie and failed. To this day, I still don't understand why people like the Barbie movie. I don't get it.
I told you I watched that with a friend, and we came out of that, and she was just like, "What the fuck was that?" Because she was twisted my arm. It was like, "Come, you go and see the Barbie movie." And I was like, "All right, I'll go and watch it."
I don't understand why we need a Minecraft movie. It's because some stupid Hollywood exec's gone, Minecraft's popular, make a movie out of that and make loads of money.
Well, I think Microsoft would turn around and go, "We spent a lot on Minecraft, we need to make some money." But it's just like...
Product not yet rated.
So this is like the, what do you call it? Minecraft story mode, yeah?
I have just the thing for you.
You're giving me a sword?
Even better, you can make your own.
But it's like...
What we were expecting?
I want to steal that and that. Just leave it.
But I'm just going to flip through this quickly because I want to get back to talking.
Everyone's running away. Go!
Yeah, it already looks like a better trailer.
I don't need that much to make my argument there. But you could have done that into a film, an animated film. Don't know why it's animated. I really don't know why it's not animated. And I don't know why Jason Momoa's career is like kind of shot up and then fell back down.
Well, yeah, he hasn't been in some decent films other than he played the baddie in The Fast and the Furious, but because of reasons we're not getting the next one for at least another year or two, which is I don't know, which is a shame. But he was quite good in that film, although he was slightly camp. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, I don't know. He's a likable TV star. Why is he not in more? Probably because he's full of testosterone, and Hollywood doesn't like testosterone.
Yeah, it's yes.
So I don't know. I mean, he looked a bit odd in this film. Perm, one too many burgers. I know I can talk, but this is Jason.
I'm not a movie star.
I'm not a movie star. I mean, trust me, if I was a movie star, I would. Yeah.
So I'll just quickly shoot through the comments before we move on to our next bits. So, why did you pick Jack Black for Steve?
Because Jack Black, people think he's still popular.
I don't know. Yes, my wife already knows my two thoughts on the two trailers. Yeah.
John Wick Sonic.
Yes. Well, no, it's Keanu Reeves voicing Shadow the Hedgehog, so it is John Wick Sonic. And it's like kind of Baxter's like kind of, it looks utter garbage. And I imagine I've taken my son to go and see Sonic, so yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll watch Sonic. I quite like the first two Sonic movies, to be honest. But yeah.
Very outgoing, feminine, yeah. Girl, yeah. I wore a pink t-shirt to Barbie. It was Miami Vice, if it makes you feel any better.
Did you love it really? Did you love the Barbie movie? Did you?
No. It was terrible.
I really don't get what people saw in that film. I really don't understand.
You know what I think they saw in that film? As they saw a woman being feminine.
Yeah, but when she was like, basically being a complete cow to Ken, she's not a hero in this film. I didn't. I'm not.
Ken was the hero in the film. Everyone knows that.
I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of the bloody Barbie movie. It was god awful.
All right.
And not entertaining. Go on.
I want to talk about Terminator Zero. I'm just going to play this in the background while we chat, so the audio is not running. So I think Babster messaged me in Nige on WhatsApp saying you need to watch the Terminator. Terminator Zero on Netflix. So I managed to sit down. I think it was like yesterday. I finished watching it, and it's really good. It's weird because it starts off and it gives you the impression it's just going to be Terminator, but Japanese Terminator, yeah. And then it starts developing with a few more twists and turns inside the story. So one of the twists about one of the characters I spotted off the bat. And I just waited, but I didn't spot some other twists of the other characters, and it's really good. The idea is that Skynet has sent a Terminator back to kill this guy. Can't remember his name. I call him Malcolm because that's his name. Malcolm, who's developing a rival AI system. And the reason he's developing a rival AI system, he's aware that Skynet's going to go online soon. And he needs to stop it. Yeah. So the Terminator comes back in time. They then send someone back in time to try and prevent the Terminator from killing Malcolm and hijacking this AI. The downside is that Malcolm's dealing with this AI and he's trying to persuade the AI that don't be like Skynet. When I turn you on, you don't kill humanity. Do not kill humanity, whatever you do. And it's funny because it fends off the first Skynet attack. So Skynet tries to nuke them, but it manages to fend off that attack just off the bat. And then it's like kind of, not quite sure about humanity. I think I need to know a bit more. And then things play out. And while that's happening, the Terminator's trying to shut the AI down too. Because it knows that Skynet can't have complete dominance if this AI exists. So it's trying to access this EMP, which Malcolm put in place to how can I put it, cover if something went wrong, he could hit there and destroy the AI. And it's ironically it's run off a Terminator chip, which I found quite amusing. And there's a nice, looks like you can have a second series towards the end. Animation pretty good. I think I watched the first 3 episodes Japanese with subtitles, and then I just switched it over because they like Timothy Olyphant's the voice of the Terminator. So like, I can go with that. There's nice twists towards the end. There's a few twists there because there's bits where you'll be asking questions and you just go why, and then it pays off. Yeah, why would you do this? And then it pays off. Yeah, why haven't they done that? And it pays off. Yeah, and it's quite interesting in that way. Really good in places, lovely, gory violence to make your stomach churning bits. But there's It's good. It's really good. It's weird because you watch the first 3 to 4 episodes and it feels very similar, and then it just turns and it becomes its own thing. So it kind of like gives you a nice familiar feel, and then turns around and goes, well, there's more to it. Let me show you the more to it part, and then you go, which is the interesting bit. You have to watch it, Keith, because it's good.
Okay, I will. I kind of avoid cartoons of things because, you know, Batman was all these modern cartoons coming out again. I've been avoiding.
The Japanese did it, so it's more likely to be a bit more. I didn't know it was
a Japanese thing. I just saw Terminator Zero cartoon Netflix and went, you know, I didn't know anything about it. Having just watched that trailer and hearing you, I will go and watch it.
I did think that the Malcolm character was Miles Dyson, and I was wrong about that. Oh well, can't get them all right. But yeah, no, give it a watch. It's really good. Slow Horses.
It's great to be back. It was quite a serious episode. There weren't many funny moments in it. There weren't that many funny moments, although there was one very funny moment towards the end that did have me.
Oh, that was. I knew it was funny because in my head, because it starts off and it's just to do, so it's series 4, and it's looking at Cartwright's grandfather who brought him up, who's now suffering from dementia, and he's showing real signs of paranoia to the point that he's carrying a gun around him with everything. Yeah. This happens during a car bombing, so the security services are on massive alert, and they're all trying to figure out what's going on normally. So it's Keith's volume's higher than mine.
This is after Ho is like tricked him to go going to a Christmas party at the thing. And she was like, I love the phone call where he phones her up and she's like, you know, who invited you? Who told you? Lamb. Now what do you think you've done wrong? And he's like, well, you got to be in it to win it. But it's the fact when he's walking down the street, he gets into the thing, gets out a piece of chicken, takes one thing and throws it over his back. And look at the disgusting people behind. Explosion, and he's still walking along, eating another bit of chicken.
He's got his headphones on, so he can't quite.
But you got you got Gaius Baltar as the new quite incompetent first desk of MI5, which I knew there was a character coming, because I know that Diane doesn't get it yet. No spoilers. But that was that moment, and then like where you think Cartwright is dead. Spoiler. And they're all sort of getting upset about it, and he goes, "In other news, got a girlfriend."
Oh God. So hang on a second. So let's go back. So just to cover the story, yeah. Cartwright's grandfather's got what looks like the starts of dementia, and he's paranoid and he's carrying a gun with him, and he goes to have a chat with, I can't remember her bloody name. She's going up with Min in the first series, and then he gets killed in the second. I can't remember her name now.
Yeah, I know who you mean, but I can't remember her name. But yeah.
Anyway, goes out with this woman, explains to got close in that, and she thinks he's asking him out, but he wants to ask about his grandfather because he is suffering from dementia, and he needs to tell him he's got to go to a home, which is no easy task, and it is. And then it cuts to his grandfather, and he's walking home, and you can see his grandfather's paranoid as all fuck. Yeah. Anyway, he comes in the house, he gets a knock on the door. It's his grandson, it says, but you don't get to see his face or anything. Yeah. And then he goes upstairs. I'll run you a bath. Blah blah blah. And then the grandfather goes upstairs with his shotgun and empties both barrels into this person. who we think is River Cartwright, and we know it's not River Cartwright because
he's got long black hair, and there's the scene where he gets shot and falls
it takes you no, because he's not got long black hair. He's got a hoodie.
No,
you only
he
get
has
to
long
see
black
him.
hair because the first time round when I watched the episode twice, right, and the first time I saw it, I thought the voice starts off as Cartwright. But when it gets to the bathroom, it's not Cartwright, right? And when you see him shoot him, right, and you see him fall, you see these long, curly waves of black hair. Or at least that's what I thought I caught the first time. When I watched it the second time, I paused it. It's long black hair. You can clearly see it. But it was.
But you don't get to see that for ages. You really don't get to see that for ages because it's like, oh, he shot him. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not him. Who the fuck is it? Yeah, and we're waiting, and then Lamb, because he likes playing games, because he's a spy and that's what they do, says, no, that's River Cartwright. Well, annoying thing. And then he has Duffy's replacement. I can't remember her name. And she makes a comment about a shower. I think you should take a shower. I think you should take a shower. Like that. Because I think it's a bit forward, isn't it? Or something along those lines. We've only just met. And he's great because he knows he's playing it. And then it gets to the end where we want to see that River Cartwright's alive, yeah? And it cuts to Standish's flat and it's outside. It focuses on this car, yeah? And then he goes inside and he talks to her and he baits her. He's great because he's such a dick to her. He's so horrible to Standish, yeah? He's like kind of, what was it kind of, he didn't ask, where he got shot or how he got shot or anything else, yeah? And sorry, Tannis just got it right there. And he's like kind of, it's like you didn't ask this, that, and the other. Plus, his car's parked out front, which was the best bit because I was waiting for him to do this. It was great, and it's like kind of opens up the thing, and then there's River's grandfather asleep on the bed in the spare room, and River's disappeared off somewhere in France to do stuff.
So, I think the trailer was mostly the first episode with some bits from the second episode because it does feature Agent Smith. What's his face?
Oh, yes. Hugo Weaving.
Who is a spy. That's all I know. Or was a spy. It was cool. It's going to be interesting. I think this season. It's gonna be interesting. It has got another season. Already, I know that's been confirmed. So it's also got a season 5. So we'll probably get a trailer at the end of this. But it was a bit more serious this first episode. There were a couple of funny moments, but it was quite a serious.
It was Toe and Lamb got the only non-serious bits. Everything else was really serious.
Yeah. So I want to see where it goes. I wonder if we're in for a darker season. But, I mean, Gary Oldman was born to play this role. I mean, he's just brilliant in this role. And he plays it so well. I mean, and he even farts in front of her. And it's like, he goes, can you do that on cue? And that little bit between them was quite good. I mean, he's a total bastard, but he's also a brilliant spy, and that's the problem.
Yeah. And you can see why everyone's like, oh, he's a legend, and then you meet him and he's like kind of comes out of focus briefly.
What was interesting was that, we thought Duffy died, and they said, no, he's in a coma and brain dead. So that's interesting. I almost think that incarnation of Duffy should have died. He's a complete bastard. Yes, we will see. We will see what happens. But the fact that Diane hasn't been made first desk, I did know that. But it's, he is playing like Gareth Boltar again, isn't he? He does play cowards very well.
I thought he was going to be Duffy's replacement. I thought he was going to play a bit of like a harder sort of character, but no, he didn't. He got cast as a weasel again. Poor bastard gets typecast, but oh well. James Callis is quite a good actor to watch, so I'm happy there.
I think
So-
it's going to be interesting watching, what Diane does with him, because she's clearly sort
It's
of,
going to stitch him up.
yeah, yeah. I think so.
Do you know what the funny thing is? This is how it's going to work, yeah? Really simple, yeah? It's going to go like this. She is going to stitch him up and he's going to get promoted somewhere else. Because that's what happens to those people. You know it. We both know it. That's how the story ends. He gets promoted out of it to a much better fucking job.
I know what happens. I'm not going to ruin it, or at least I know what happens in the book.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna say anything. I didn't know what happens in this book, but I did know that the trailer with the line "that's a bit inappropriate." One of my team is just. I knew that was a red herring.
Yeah, we all knew that was.
I knew Cartwright wasn't dead. But they did take a long time to reveal that he wasn't dead. And I like the fact that, he goes through all this subterfuge, asking her all the questions, and he's already got her, and the fact that you didn't react very well, and blah, blah, blah. And she's still going, and then he just goes, and besides, his car's parked outside, which she goes...
That was great.
Yeah.
Shall we...
Yes.
Shall we move on to talk about our Chris Nolan watch-along?
Yep.
And we're on to The Dark Knight.
We are.
I hope we're on to The Dark Knight, because I watched The Dark Knight. If I've not
So
watched,
did I.
if I was supposed to watch Inception, I'm sure Inception's next.
No, Inception's next.
Okay, cool. That's fine. So yeah, I watched The Dark Knight. I forgot how much I love that film. It's such a good film. Less of the Nolan-esque edit issues that I have in others, if that makes any sense. The closest you get is the scene where Gordon gets shot at the funeral, and when the convoy gets attacked at the
But
beginning.
there's no timey-wimey bullshit in this. There's no flashbacking, really. But the problem is Gotham isn't Gotham.
Gotham's
And
Chicago.
It's Chicago or New York at the end.
No, it's Chicago. This one's Chicago. It's got the bloody bridges in it, for crying out loud.
Yes, but then it's New York with the ferries. Chicago doesn't have orange ferries. New York does. Because you've seen exactly the same ferry in Spider-Man movie. So... My problem with this film was that it's Heat featuring Batman. And it was almost too grounded. But there are incredible moments and cinema. I mean, the whole scene in Hong Kong is just brilliant. And
with the Fulton extraction.
I mean, the thing that Nolan knows how to do. God, he's a good he is a great cinematographer, and that whole scene where the camera sort of winds around, and as Batman jumps off the really tall tower to sort of come down, that whole scene is just amazingly filmed, amazingly shot. But the opening scene, which on an IMAX camera, it feels like generic American city crime thing. It feels like Heat. It feels a bit like Heat. If you ever watched,
I'm gonna actually argue against you on that one. So that beginning section is the entrance of the Joker. Yeah. So it's a bit protracted in comparison to say other films. Say when you look at Darth Vader's entrance, but the whole thing is set up to show you who the Joker is and how he works. And I think it's fucking fantastic as a little bit on its own. If someone just released that as a fan film on its own, you go, great. Because in this, you get to see that he'll make people go to extraordinary lengths to do things and then get them to turn on each other.
I'm not talking about... What I'm talking about here is more... It's more the technical side of it. It's the color grade that he uses. It's the cinematography part. It's the fact that he's filming on a generic. It doesn't feel gothic, right? That they're raiding a goddamn bank. If you'd turned that into a gothic bank, if you'd used the similar aesthetics that you had in Batman Begins, right, that would have worked, right? But it didn't have that feel. It had almost like an LA feel to it. And that's partly to do with the color grade that he was using, because this whole film is graded differently. And that it makes it's graded to make it like a gritty crime movie. And that's part of my this is really technical geeky stuff. The scene that introduces the Joker, I agree with you, right? You know, when he's in the bank. But again, the bank isn't very Gothic-like, and it's fucking Gotham. It's not downtown LA. It's not the city featured in Heat. If you go and watch Heat and you look at the grade that they use and you look at the style of it, right? This was styled like that and not like a comic book movie. Now, the entrance of the Joker is great, right? And the fact that each person kills each other off, again, great. But it's the aesthetics that they use. I mean, the bit where the bank manager starts shooting everybody, great. Again, you know, and have you got any idea who you're robbing? But you're robbing Gotham mob, not like serious. It's the styling. It's the styling that I have the problem with. Not necessarily what happens in the scene, if that makes any sense. It's a shame that it's a shame that Katie Holmes isn't in this. Again, I know that people love Maggie Gyllenhaal. I like her, but I didn't feel the connection to her because of that.
No, she's. It's weird because I think she's a much better actress than Katie Holmes, but she's not Katie Holmes, and that's the thing. And Katie Holmes, they seem to play well off of her because it's like you see her talking when she's doing the lawyery bits. It's really good, but when she's doing the relationship bits, not so good because she hasn't got the chemistry. So it's like kind of, but that it's funny because that is something that's out of the actress's hands. Yeah, if that makes any sense. So yeah, and I know your problem is the problem that Gotham isn't there as a character.
No.
Yeah, that's the issue with this one.
It takes part of the Batman thing is the gothic look of Gotham, which I think he got balanced so well in Batman Begins that just is not there. It feels like a real, it feels like a confused city. 1 minute it's LA, most of the time it's Chicago, then it's New York, right? But they're recognizable cities, right? And Gotham, but whereas in the first one, yeah, there are moments when you know it's shot in London because you know the location it's been shot at, so you recognize the building, right? Which is, you can't think. But most of the time they nail that gothic look. The style of the monorail is quite gothic looking. The Wayne building, right, that you see that is at the center of everything is very gothic looking. It looks like 1930s Manhattan building, but it looks a bit gothic like a bit like the Ghostbusters building. But it had that style. They took time to style the look of Gotham, which they didn't do in this film, and it really takes you out of it. It feels like a lot of the time it feels like Heat featuring Batman. And don't get me wrong, I mean, the Joker, I love the entry of the Joker. I mean, that you want to see a magic screen and he slaps it down. Brilliant,
Well, but then we're just talking about the thing where it's like he gets the bank manager and it goes, I believe, what doesn't kill you makes you stranger.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
I mean, Heath Ledger, look, fantastic as the Joker. If what had happened today, I think that movie would have been cancelled. Because there are moments in that film where you see partly why he might have been affected by it. I mean, the bit where he is laying into Batman at the end when he's gotten caught, and he's laying into him. Jesus. And again, I'm not having Wayne Manor, not having the Batcave, not having anything gothic looking. They even changed the Wayne building into generic Chicago black glass building, right? The scene from Harvey Dent's office, it's so obviously Chicago. It's Chicago just after St. Paddy's Day because the water's green. And again, iconic Chicago bridges going over the water, which is obvious. Gotham has an identity crisis in this film. And it's almost like he wanted to make Heat with Batman in it. And that's what it feels like.
I disagree.
Well, that's how he styles it, and that's definitely how he grades it.
No, because the first things first is Heat's not Heat. He is Tokyo something, which is a Japanese film.
I know,
and he wouldn't. He would have been more of a snob to go straight for the Japanese version. Yeah, but I don't think I don't think it's the case. I think it's I think he wanted to kind of lean into the Batman in the real world sort of thing. So he took out the bits that made it less real worldy from it.
And I think that's what doesn't work here. Because I think he got the balance right in Batman Begins, and I don't think he gets it right here. And the thing is, I know why, because in Batman Begins he features a grounded villain in terms of Liam Neeson just being Liam Neeson on screen. And there's no, and he took out all the mystical stuff around Ra's al Ghul, and that works in that film. But then you're going to do the Joker, and that character, is comic book enough that he felt he almost had to ground the movie more. But you've nailed it in the fact that it isn't Gotham in this film, and Gotham is not a character, and that bothers me, and it bothers me throughout the movie. But having said that, the story, it works. I actually, one of my biggest, I haven't seen The Dark Knight for quite a long time. And I always said it was 30 minutes too long. And it is still too long. But actually, the Harvey Dent story makes more sense. But he's not Harvey Dent for long enough. The Two-Face blink and you miss it kind of thing. And I don't know if Harvey Dent should have just been kept over for the third movie. Had that tragedy happened, but the movie finishes with Joker, and then you could open the next movie with a scene. I don't know. Two-Face was tragically underused.
So, it was weird because I watched it and the first thing I got was that there were so many moral things that the characters had to do. If that made any sense. So they always had to do the moral choice. And the one that gets me is the one where he picks to go and rescue Rachel. When he doesn't, he rescues Harvey, but because he was tricked. And I remember watching that the first time in the cinema, and I didn't think they were going to kill her. And they killed her, and I made a weird inhalation and a ooh noise at the same time too, which I can't repeat because I was like ooh like that because I didn't think he was going to do it. And to be honest with you, at the end of that, when the Joker you got him running around the police car, I felt like you could have ended the film there. It sounds really odd. You could have ended the film there; it would have been a two-parter. But going back through it, you go back through all these kind of questions and these moral choices that people make. The cops that are on the take, the ones that Joker has corrupted, when you go back and watch it a second time and you start looking for them, they shoot looks when the camera's watching them, nervous looks, which is really, really good for the eagle eye person going back and watching it from it, so it doesn't feel so out of line. And it's like the chaos versus order thing where you've got. Because this version, because I always say there's three versions of the Joker, yeah? You've got the psychotic prankster who was Jack Nicholson and the guy in the Batman TV series, yeah? You've got the psychopath, and he did it in this, where it's like, I'm going to kill this person at this time, and then he kills this person at this time, yeah? And then you've got this version of the Joker, which is the agent of chaos, yeah? Comes out of nowhere, not too sure about what, just causes absolute chaos wherever they are. And it's like it's I like that because this Batman is like a idealized version of him. Yeah, and one of the great things is he hears that Rachel's going out with Harvey Dent, and he's like, oh god, and he goes to dinner, and he's like, I want, cause sneaky fuck, I want to see who this person is. I want to see if he's, he's dating my person I like. Is he a dick? And he sits down expecting him to be a dick, and you see him just lean back and go, I really like this guy. This guy's a really good guy. Oh, and it's like he sees him, and it's like kind of, and it's like his thing on his opinion on Batman and everything, where Bruce is making up bullshit about that, and you've just got that bit where you see Bruce Wayne going, "Fuck, I like him," and he's going out with my girlfriend, that sort of thing, and you can see that because then he's got that dilemma there, and then some other bits too, and it's just
you're bang on the money with the characterization. You are. I agree with you, everything you've said there. My problem, this movie would have been my favorite Batman movie had he kept the aesthetics and the styles that he laid out in the first movie. But he didn't. And he leans too much into, I know it's a gritty mob story, right? But he leans too much into that, and that styled the film that makes it disconnected from the first film. And again, I reacted the same way when he killed Rachel. The trouble was, it was not as impactful because they recast her. And look, it might have been nothing he could have done, but that would have been more impactful had it been Katie Holmes, because there wasn't that connection to the first movie. And it wouldn't have been as impactful. But yeah. The bit where he does go and realise that he quite likes Harvey Dent is great. And all of that, those interactions with him and Gordon and everyone, it works on that level. The funeral scene where they're standing outside the building, again, it's the bloody styling of the film, and it irritates me. Because underlying it is a fantastic film. A clever film. I mean, the scene on the ferries is great. It really gives you that foreboding, and you don't know what's going to happen. And I love that. And then you've got this thing. The problem is, right, you then get the fantastical sonar machine, which is a typical thing out of a Batman comic, which almost feels out of place because of the aesthetics that he set. Now, if you'd had that in the first movie, it wouldn't have felt out of place. But there are moments of confusion. And it is down to the styling, and it is down to the fact that you can see that he's influenced by Michael Mann. You can. He is making a Michael Mann film, right? It's graded like it. It's styled like it is. Go and watch like Heat. Go and watch those kind of films. There's not just that one. There's loads of them. This film is styled. But I could I could probably point to like 40 or 50 other films with the same kind of color grading and the same kind of thing. And I think there's pretty much any action film that's not Michael Bay, because Michael Bay likes his magic hour. Yeah. It's even the scene in the jail scene. The jail scene again. It bothers me, and it is there. And again, it changes in the next one. We're going to see it completely different again. And that's
from Chicago to New York.
Yeah. But I mean, there are moments. I mean, I love the although it makes me cry when the Batmobile blows up. I love how it fucking transitions to the bike. That scene is great. The riding through the underbelly of the road, that's the most Gotham-like scene in the entire bloody film. Because it's in those underlying tunnels again. And I like the bit where the Joker's taking him on, like he's got a bazooka. That whole chase scene is great. And I love the twist with I like the twist with Gordon. I mean, even though Commissioner Gordon is not dead because he's not Commissioner Gordon yet, It's like, how is he going to pop up and where is he going to pop up? And I remember that from the cinema, and I love that. Look, you can't fault fucking what's his face's performance as a Joker. It is.
Right. So talking about scenes, one of the best scenes is when the hospital blows up.
Yes.
Which is great because when the hospital, apparently when they filmed it the first time around, when the hospital blew up, it was real, and Heath Ledger was like he was expecting the whole thing to go up, and he was told not to look at the explosion. Yeah, so it started blowing up, and then it stopped. So he turns around and he plays into it, and he bangs the detonator like something's happened. Then it starts exploding again, and then back on, face forward, doesn't look at the explosion. That was fantastic. The irony of the one of the roadblocks being a fire engine on fire during the underpass thing, I liked. Just as kind of little things there. You had the Gotham imposters reference at the beginning with the fake Batman fighting what's his mush. And you got that bloody car park bit, which I've seen in like it was in Blade, and I think I've seen it in. I'm sure I saw it in. Christ, I've seen it in loads of things, but I cannot remember. But it's been featured. It must be a car park near a studio somewhere that just go to the film. That was great. And you're right, the Batmobile where it gets the RPG in the arse and then gets destroyed is not. It's unpleasant because it could have done something better. But hey, that was the way it went. And it's funny because when they were making that bike, they were testing it near me.
No, they filmed it.
You know.
A lot of that filming is done at Longcross. You mentioned that car park. I liked the scene, but look at the colouring, look at the style of it again, and that the grade there. If you graded it different, removed the blue, it would have been more gothic. The problem with there is it's too blue. I'm being really geeky and talking about it.
I do not think that's too blue. I think it probably complain it's more fucking neon white than anything.
I could take that scene, regrade it, and you'll get what I mean. And I'll make it look like.
Oh no, I could probably do the same too. But yeah. I think it's still the original print is too bright.
No, it's because he went the grade and everything that he went for. I know what look he's trying to obtain. And it doesn't work for me as a Batman film, right? Whereas, and people always say, "Oh, The Dark Knight's the best film," because they're looking at the story, and story-wise, it is,
right? And character-wise,
it is. The problem is that he doesn't get the balance right. And look, and this is my problem with the Harry Potter movies as well, and I don't expect everybody to agree with me. It's my autism thing, I think, but it bothers me in this film, and it's really noticeable. And you're right. The way you summed it up, saying Gotham's not a character in this film, you're right. That's a perfect way of saying it, and you're right. But that spoils it to me, and that's why I still prefer Batman Begins. It always. Having said all of that, it's a lot less Nolan-like in certain ways, and it works in this film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you take the Batman side out of it, this is a really good film. It's brilliantly made. It's got some of the best performances in it. The cinematography in it is fucking right. Taking the Batman out of it. But as soon as you interject the Batmanness into it, that's where it doesn't quite work as well as the first one. I think that makes sense. I think I've articulated that well enough. Because, you know, one of my favourite scenes is the whole Hong Kong thing. It's just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, and I'm sure... I'm sure they changed. There's a little edit on the version that I watched, because... The building at the end, it sounds really pathetic. It's just something I noticed. Yeah, the building at the end, yeah, where they're having the fight and the construction thing, was a Bovis Lend-Lease building. And then now it's not Bovis in the version I watched. It says Davis. So I need to find a fucking print before they changed it over, which is a little worrying, because it's like, I remember that because in my job, I have to deal with bogus Lindleys. So that kind of sticks out a little. But yeah, it's that. Anyway, going back to it, the one of the bits that kind of makes me really sad in it is the bit right at the end where he catches the Joker and he's got him hoisted up upside down and he goes, I've got a feeling that you and I are going to be doing this forever. That was fucking tragic, I felt.
Yes. Because I think that was the plan. I think the plan was to bring him back because he doesn't kill the Joker, which again is, you know, you get that psychotic Joker laugh as he's pulled off and he's falling, and you get that iconic Joker laugh, and then he pulls him back up again, and the way he pans. I mean, this is one of the most Nolan things in the movie, of where he's hanging upside down, right? But instead of showing him upside down, he turns the camera upside down, so you get that weird hair all over the place. And it's a Nolan thing. It's a Nolan thing, but it works.
And more importantly, the symbology.
Yes.
One standing upright, the other one's the opposite way around, which, you know, was done. And the other thing too is, you know about the shepherd tone, don't you? Nolan loves the shepherd tone. So when you hear a Nolan film and Hans Zimmer's done the music, you hear this note that seems to be going up forever. Yeah? There's this tone that just keeps going up, 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 up. And he explained this when... what's the one? Oh my God, Supermarine was the soundtrack on it. It was the World War... the beach. Dunkirk, thank you. Fucking hell, forgot that. He explained that in thinking how he does that too, where you kind of... it resets, but you don't make anyone aware of the reset, so it just feels like it's going up constantly in the music. And I really, really noticed that towards the end, because it just felt like it was kind of... it's still a fucking great movie. You're right. I know you're pissed about Gotham not being there, and that's, as I said, the best way of summing it up is Gotham's character, and that character wasn't in this film. Yeah, and not having Katie Holmes in there too was a little...
You've got to take... if you take out the fact that it's a sequel to the Batman Begins, and I know this sounds stupid, but you take the Batman out of it and you view it as a crime film, it's fantastic. But as a Batman film, it doesn't do it quite as well as what's its face, Batman Begins. It doesn't.
Batman Begins.
But this is me being heavily critical of it, but it's technically one of Nolan's best films. And my view here is a personal view. I don't expect everybody to agree with it, because those kind of details will bother other people less than they bother me. But that slightly ruins it for me. But I you know, there are moments in it I like, as I said, and you know, taking that out, it's a brilliant crime movie. It's better than Heat. It's yeah, and I've always heard it's 30 minutes too long. Actually, having watched it today and thinking, you know, I've always said, they could have held over Harvey Dent. I don't know how they would have done with the way the story works. But I do feel that the Harvey Dent character was... you could have ended it with him capturing the Joker. The fact that they end it with him becoming the criminal feels more of a setup for the third movie, and they could have done that as a flashback to start the third movie. He had the third movie in mind when he did that. So you could have had the film ending, you know, on a high note with Lucius Fox typing in his name and the system blowing up, and that's where you could have sort of held it over. You didn't have to reveal Harvey Dent as Harvey Dent, as Two-Face. You could have held that over. I think, but he obviously wanted to go in a different direction for the third film, but that could have worked. The only criticism is trying to do Two-Face in this film.
Mm.
But again, works great as but he is a good Harvey Dent. Do you know where he grew up?
Mm. Where'd he grow up?
Winchester Road, Walton-on-Thames.
What, Aaron Eckhart?
Yeah, look it up. Lived on the same fucking road as me. I'm not joking. It's true. He lived in England. He lived in Walton-on-Thames. And he lived in Winchester Road.
Okay.
I don't live there anymore, so don't dox me.
Dox yourself, mate. Okay. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he did grow up in the UK at his early age.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I know this.
Ah.
I know which house it was as well, but I won't reveal that. But yes, I mean, he was brilliant as that role. He was really, really good. I mean, next week's going to be interesting. I am looking forward. As I said, I've been looking forward to this because we've got Inception next week, right? Then you get The Dark Knight Returns, and then I think it's Interstellar, isn't it?
Yes. So you can see why I pick Chris Nolan films now, can't you? Rather than just do the Batman trilogy.
Yeah, we get
because they're good. He's whether he does have his Nolan-isms, but it was weird because I watched an interview with Quentin Tarantino, and he turned around and goes, "There's benefit to non-chronological storytelling." And he was talking about Pulp Fiction, but everything he brought up was pretty much how fucking Nolan does stuff in places. But I've got a massive gripe with Interstellar. And it all comes down to one word which is very difficult to spell. And that word is spaghettification. And Keith will understand what I mean by spaghettification.
Interstellar is probably my favourite Nolan film outside of the Batman films. I do like Interstellar. I love it.
I'm going to say Inception's mine.
I know. Look,
I like Inception more than Interstellar.
I'm going to hold this fact. I've got a good fact for next week. Because there is a scene in that film, right? I'm not going to tell you anything, but it's a good connection for your other podcast. If you know the fact, don't blurt it out, right? But there is.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Is it the one with the thing round the corner from me?
Just don't say anything.
Is it the bit round the corner from me? Because that's enough.
Yeah.
It is the bit round the corner from me.
Yeah. God, been in
I just
there.
love the fact that Inception was.
I've literally gone
haven't.
up that. Although it's CGI, it is and it isn't. The
funny thing is,
yeah,
I've been to there's some office. There's another office block further up from that, and another one even further up from. I've been to the one up further on multiple fucking occasions.
Yeah, but the one that it is EA or was EA, not anymore, but it was.
Yes, before the local council wouldn't give them the
to build the EA.
Anyway.
We'll talk about it next week.
On that
the E,
note.
but not the A. Yes. I'm looking forward to next week. Yeah. Well, see you next week. Got episode 2 of Slow Horses, which I'm looking forward to. I'll try and watch some more appropriate stuff for this podcast next week.
Watch Terminator Zero.
Yes, I'll try and watch that. But we've got the first episode of, I think it's next couple of days. Tulsa King's back.
Tulsa King.
Tulsa King, that's what I meant. That's what I said.
Tulsa King. Tulsa King. I know.
Tallulah. from what's his face? My name is. Sorry. Anyway, that's what's in my head. You know the music.
And on that note, it's goodbye from me.
See you later. Bye, Steve. Bye, Tanith. Bye, Biffa.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.